The gaming laptop sat on the kitchen counter at Mom's house, right where my son Jake had left it during our weekly Sunday dinner. He was 14 and had saved for 8 months from his lawn mowing jobs to buy that machine. I'd watched him wake up at 6 every Saturday morning that summer, loading the mower into our truck before the heat became unbearable. $15 per lawn, sometimes 20 if the yard was large or overgrown. He kept a spreadsheet tracking every job, every dollar, calculating how many more lawns until he hit his goal. $847. That's what the custom-built system cost after he'd spent weeks researching components, watching comparison videos and reading reviews from other gamers. He knew the exact specifications of the graphics card, the processing speed and the cooling system capabilities. When he finally had enough saved, we'd driven to the computer store together, and I'd never seen him more proud than when he paid in cash, mostly 20s and 10s, counted out carefully on the counter. That was 6 weeks ago. The laptop had become his prized possession, treated with the kind of care most kids reserve for nothing. "I'll grab it next time," I told him as we headed home that evening. "It's safer at Grandma's than leaving it in the car overnight. You know how hot it gets." He'd hesitated, protective of his investment, but finally nodded. "Hey, but I need it back by Thursday. The tournament starts Friday." My brother Dennis had other plans. 3 days later, I stopped by Mom's place to pick up the laptop before Jake's online tournament that weekend. The counter was empty. "Mom, where's Jake's laptop?" She looked up from her crossword puzzle, barely interested. "What laptop?" "The gaming one. Jake left it here Sunday." It was right on the counter. "Must have gotten moved somewhere." "Check the den." I searched the den, the living room, even the garage. Nothing. Dennis arrived with his 11-year-old son Tyler just as I was checking the basement. Tyler rushed past me, clutching something that made my stomach drop. A gaming laptop. Jake's gaming laptop, with the distinctive custom stickers he'd carefully applied. "Hey buddy," I called out. "That's a nice laptop." Tyler beamed. "Dad got it for me. For getting good grades." Dennis appeared behind him, not even flinching. "The kid earned it. Straight A's this semester." "That's Jake's laptop," I said quietly. "This is Tyler's laptop," Dennis corrected, his voice flat. "I bought it for him 2 days ago. It has Jake's stickers on it. Lots of kids use those stickers. You can get them anywhere." Mom emerged from the kitchen, and I saw her expression shift the moment she realized where this was going. "What's going on?" Dennis took Jake's laptop and gave it to Tyler. "Oh, for heaven's sake," Mom snapped. "Stop causing trouble. Dennis wouldn't do that." "Mom, look at the stickers." "Enough. Tyler has a new laptop. Jake probably took his home and forgot. You're always trying to start something with your brother." Dennis smirked, just slightly, just enough for me to see it but not enough for Mom to notice. "Maybe check Jake's room better. Kids lose things all the time." I pulled out my phone and showed Mom the photo Jake had taken of himself with the laptop at her house, the timestamp visible. Sunday evening, right in her kitchen. She barely glanced at it. "Photos don't prove anything. Dennis said he bought this one Tuesday. Maybe they just look similar." Tyler was already upstairs, probably installing games, completely unaware he was using stolen property. I could have pushed harder. Could have grabbed the laptop right there. Could have called the police and made a scene that would have split the family permanently. The evidence was right in front of us. Jake's distinctive custom stickers, the exact model, the timing, all matching perfectly. Instead I said, "Understood," and walked out. The drive home felt longer than usual. I kept replaying the smirk on Dennis's face, the casual way he'd lied, the ease with which Mom had dismissed me. She hadn't even entertained the possibility. Just automatic defense of her golden child, the way it had always been. Jake was devastated. 8 months. He kept repeating that night, sitting on his bed, staring at the empty space on his desk where the laptop usually sat. 8 months of waking up early. 8 months of pushing that stupid mower in the heat. "I know, buddy. Mrs. Henderson's yard was half an acre. It took me 3 hours and she only paid $15. Mr. Chen's dog kept barking at me. The Morrison place had that hill that made the mower so heavy. He was listing them now, all the lawns, all the work. I saved everything. I didn't even buy lunch at school so I could save faster." My throat felt tight. "I know. Can't you just take it back? Just go over there and take it." Not without proof that will make Grandma listen. You told her. I showed her the picture. She didn't want to believe it. He looked at me with 14-year-old eyes that suddenly seemed much older. She believed Uncle Dennis instead of us. Yes. That's messed up, Dad. Yeah. It really is. What Jake didn't know was that 6 months earlier, after Mom's house had been broken into, I'd installed a security camera system for her. 4 cameras covered all entry points: the front door, back door, garage, and the side gate that led to the backyard. She'd asked me to set it up after someone had broken a window and stolen her television while she was at her book club. The neighborhood had been experiencing a string of break-ins that summer. I'd spent a weekend running cables, mounting cameras, and configuring the system to save footage to a cloud server that I managed. Mom had been grateful, checking the camera feeds obsessively for the first few weeks, then gradually forgetting about them as the neighborhood incidents stopped. I'd never told her I kept the administrative access. I never thought I'd need it for something like this. The system was supposed to protect her from strangers, not document her son stealing from his nephew. That night, after Jake finally fell asleep, I opened my laptop and logged into the security system. The interface loaded slowly, showing thumbnail images from all 4 cameras. I selected the backdoor camera and scrolled through the timeline. I pulled up the footage from Sunday night through Wednesday morning. Sunday at 8:47 p.m. showed Jake and me leaving through the front door, visible on that camera. I switched to the kitchen view, the laptop clearly visible on the counter under the overhead light, its distinctive stickers catching the camera's glare. Monday, nothing. The laptop sat untouched. Tuesday, nothing. The counter remained the same. Wednesday at 2:15 p.m., Dennis entered through the back door. He had a key Mom had given him years ago. The camera captured him walking straight to the kitchen, looking around, then picking up the laptop. He examined it for maybe 10 seconds, then tucked it under his jacket and left through the same back door. 90 seconds total. Clean and deliberate. I downloaded the footage and waited. Thanksgiving came and went. We didn't attend. Mom called twice asking why. I told her we had other plans. Party approached. Mom called again. You're coming to party dinner, right? The whole family will be here. I don't think so, Mom. Don't be ridiculous. Whatever issue you think you have with Dennis, you need to get over it. Family is family. We'll see. On December 23rd, she called again, more insistent. I need to know how many people to cook for. Are you coming or not? Why does it matter to you? Last time I was there, you made it clear whose side you're on. I don't have sides. You're both my sons. But you can't keep Jake away from his grandmother over some misunderstanding about a laptop. It wasn't a misunderstanding. Dennis said he bought Tyler that computer. I believe him. He wouldn't steal from his own nephew. Okay, Mom. So you're not coming? I didn't say that. Jake and I will come for dessert. Around 7. She sounded relieved. Good. Good. Dennis and his family will be there all day, but I'm glad you'll at least stop by. On party evening, Jake and I arrived at 6:55 p.m. The house was full. Dennis and his wife Tyler, my sister and her husband, their 2 kids, and Mom's sister visiting from Nevada. The television was on, showing some holiday movie. Wrapping paper littered the floor. Mom hugged Jake tight. I've missed you, sweetheart. Missed you too, Grandma. Dennis nodded at me from the couch. Tyler was in the corner on Jake's laptop, completely absorbed in a game. We made small talk for about 20 minutes. Mom kept pushing cookies at Jake. My sister asked about work. Everything was aggressively normal, everyone pretending the last 3 months of silence hadn't happened. Finally, Mom couldn't help herself. So, are we going to talk about why you've been avoiding family dinners? The room went quiet. The movie played on, but everyone was listening now. I wasn't avoiding family dinners, I said. I was avoiding being told I'm a liar. Nobody called you a liar, Mom said, though her voice was defensive. You did. When I told you Dennis took Jake's laptop, you said I was causing trouble. Dennis set down his coffee. We're doing this now? On party. You brought $800 worth of stolen property into Mom's house and gave it to your son. Yeah, we're doing this now. I bought that laptop, Dennis said, his voice hard. I have a receipt. Show me. I don't have to prove anything to you. Mom stood up. Both of you stop. I won't have this fighting on party. Then you should probably see this, I said, pulling out my tablet. I'd loaded the security footage ready to play. Remember when you asked me to install cameras after the break-in? They're still running. Mom's face went pale. What? I pressed play. The footage showed the kitchen, the timestamp clearly visible. December 20th, 2:15 p.m. Dennis entered through the back door, went straight to the counter, picked up the laptop, hid it under his jacket and left. The room was completely silent. Even the kids had stopped moving. Tyler looked up from the laptop, confused. Dad. Dennis's wife stared at him. You said you bought that from Best Buy. I can explain, Dennis started. Explain what? I asked. Explain how you stole from a 14-year-old. Explain how you lied to your wife, your son, and our mother. Mom was staring at the tablet screen, watching the footage loop. I'd set it to replay automatically. Again and again. Dennis entering, taking the laptop, leaving. You stole from my grandson, she whispered. It's not that simple, Dennis said, standing up. Jake doesn't need a laptop that expensive. Tyler has straight A's. He deserved something you stole? Mom's voice rose. You used the key I gave you for emergencies to break into my house and steal from your nephew? I didn't break in. I have a key. That's not what the key is for. He was shouting now. Get out. Mom. Get out of my house. No. You and your family, get out. Dennis's wife was already gathering their things, her face red with either anger or embarrassment. Tyler carefully set the laptop down on the coffee table, looking like he might cry. This is ridiculous, Dennis tried. Over a laptop. Over you being a thief. Mom yelled. Over you making me call my other son a liar for 3 months. Over you teaching your child that stealing is acceptable if you come up with a good enough excuse. My sister was recording on her phone now. Dennis noticed and glared at her. You're recording this? Yeah, she said flatly. Because I want to remember the moment our brother got caught stealing from a kid. Dennis and his family were gone within 5 minutes. The house felt bigger with them absent. Mom sat down heavily on the couch, still staring at the tablet. 3 months. I defended him for 3 months. I know. You knew the whole time. You had this video the whole time. Yes. Why didn't you show me sooner? Would you have watched it? Or would you have found a way to explain it away? She didn't answer, which was answer enough. Jake picked up his laptop from the coffee table, running his fingers over the custom stickers. Can I take this home now? Yeah, buddy. It's yours. Mom looked at him, tears in her eyes. I'm so sorry, Jake. I should have believed your dad. I should have believed you. Jake shrugged, uncomfortable with adult emotions. It's okay, Grandma. It's not okay. Your uncle stole from you and I took his side. My sister spoke up. For what it's worth, I never believed Dennis bought that laptop. Those exact stickers? Come on. But you know how Mom gets about him. I'm right here, Mom said, but there was no heat in it. I know. And you need to hear it. Dennis has been the golden child since we were kids. He gets away with everything because you let him. Mom didn't argue. She just sat there looking older than I'd ever seen her. The rest of party was quiet. We ate pie. Jake showed his cousins a game on his laptop. My sister's husband asked me about the camera system specs. Around 9, as Jake and I were leaving, Mom walked us to the door. I changed the locks today, she said. Dennis's key won't work anymore. Good. And I'm going to pay Jake back for the 3 months he didn't have his laptop. For the tournaments he missed. Jake's eyes widened. Grandma, you don't have to. I do. Your uncle stole from you. I enabled it. That has consequences. She hugged us both, holding on longer than usual. In the car, Jake was quiet until we hit the highway. Dad. Yeah. Why didn't you just show Grandma the video right away? Back in September. I thought about it. Because sometimes people need to be ready to see the truth. If I'd shown her then, she would have found a way not to believe it. She needed to choose first to want to know the truth. That's really complicated. Yeah. Family usually is. He went back to looking out the window, the laptop bag secure on his lap. My phone buzzed. A text from my sister. Dennis is posting on Facebook that you edited the security footage. Just FYI. I didn't bother responding. The people who mattered knew the truth. Sometimes justice isn't loud. Sometimes it's just a quiet moment when someone finally sees clearly what they'd been refusing to look at. Sometimes it's a laptop returned and a lock changed. Sometimes that's enough. Jake had his laptop back. Mom had her eyes opened. Dennis had consequences. The rest would sort itself out.